rockets were sent by Palestinian factions in Lebanon.
Thousands of rockets have been flying towards Israel. Israel was recently attacked from Lebanon. Israeli fighter jets responded with devastation. So, are these conflicts leading to some prophetic fulfillment? Many have asked us to respond to the recent conflict in Israel and Palestinian region, and we need to look at something very interesting today. Some of you have mentioned how one of our recent videos on Israel might have spoken to this. When you scroll down to the current event playlist, you're going to want to go here where it says Prophetic Election Insights. Is destruction coming? He's invested heavily in this network to bring about peace in the Middle East. It's labeled the Peace and Security Initiative. Also, he says that he's been working on it for the past 3.5 years.
I've been working on this very closely with President Trump over the last 3.5 years. It took a lot to get to this point.
So, here's what people are saying. Scripture says that the nations before the Lord returns will declare peace and security. By coincidence, this whole initiative is called the Peace and Security Initiative. So what some are saying is that, well, perhaps, he's spent these last 3.5 years building peace in the Middle East, accords and connections and agreements happen. And perhaps since that has happened, perhaps the next 3.5 years or so, we're going to see some type of destruction. Perhaps the next 4 years, who knows, we will see some type of calamity take place now that there's been some peace already established. And if that is the case, some are wondering, well, will the next president usher in the destruction part of that whole thing? Well, did destruction come? See, you can't make this stuff up. There are so many parallels and nuances in Scripture that speak to a 3.5-year period of Israel and the people of God experiencing some protection, and then after that, destruction coming. And so even if, this peace that Kushner speaks of isn't the 3.5 years of peace prophesied in Scripture, it certainly is interesting how these things and recent events seem to mirror the timeline. Now, some would even argue that perhaps, what we are seeing is a type of foreshadowing of what will come, that there will be this 3.5 years of peace, and then there will be sudden destruction. Are we in the actual destruction, or are we kind of seeing a foreshadowing of what is to come? That would be a great place to share your insights and comments as well. We would love to read them. So this is certainly interesting. And I think one point that we must mention in all of this is that the Israeli people want peace. Many of them put their hopes in Kushner. They thought this was their guy who was going to bring about the peace they really want. They want to see an end to the destruction and wars. When Kushner was on the scene and leading all of these agreements and deals and peace negotiations, he was nominated for numerous peace awards. Recently, the U.S. Embassy courtyard in Jerusalem was named in his honor because of the work he achieved there. And so they had their hopes in this leader who was bringing about peace that they have not seen in decades. But soon as he faded into the background, soon as that happened, the region bounced back into destruction in ways worse than before. So, What does this mean? Well, if anyone has studied the history of Germany and Hitler, whenever there's chaos, powerful leaders can arise if they can bring a promise of peace. What we are seeing today, I think, could easily open up a clear path for the emergence of a leader who will bring about peace. They want it. We see that they want it. It's clear, but they just lack the leadership. And so in the future, Scripture does point to there being a leader who will reemerge, who will arise to bring peace to all sides. The man of lawlessness. And it just so happens that our next documentary covers that exact subject. It will get deep. It will be very timely. So stay tuned for that. 3.5 years of peace. Then destruction. Coincidence? Maybe. Or perhaps Bible prophecy.